February 5th on this day, in 1556, Henry II of France and Philip of Spain signed the Truce of Vaucelles, marking a temporary halt in their long-standing conflict. In 1576, Henry of Navarre, who would later become Henry IV of France, publicly renounced Catholicism at Tours, a significant moment in the French Wars of Religion. In 1597, 26 Japanese Christians, known as the 26 Martyrs, were executed by the Japanese government for being perceived as a threat to the society's stability. In 1631, the ship Lion arrived from Bristol, bringing essential provisions to the Massachusetts Bay Colony and supporting the early settlers' survival. In 1723, John Witherspoon, who would later become a signer of the United States Declaration of Independence, was born. In 1762, Martinique, a major French base in the Lesser Antilles of the West Indies, surrendered to British forces during the 7 Years' War. In 1783, Sweden officially recognized the independence of the United States, supporting its emergence as a new nation. In 1846, the first newspaper on the Pacific Coast, the Oregon Spectator, was published, marking a milestone in American journalism. In 1864, federal forces occupied Jackson, Mississippi, a key event during the American Civil War. In 1865, the three-day Battle of Hatcher's Run began in Virginia, part of the final campaigns of the American Civil War. In 1885, King Leopold II of Belgium established the Congo as his personal colonial possession, initiating a brutal era of exploitation. In 1887, Giuseppe Verdi's opera Otello premiered at La Scala Theatre in Milan, Italy, marking his first new opera in over 15 years. In 1900, the first Hay-Pauncefote Treaty was signed between the United States and Great Britain, setting the terms for the construction and control of the proposed Panama Canal. In 1917, Mexico adopted its present constitution, shaping its political and social framework. In 1917, the United States Congress overrode President Woodrow Wilson's veto of the Immigration Act, instituting literacy tests for immigrants. In 1918, the Soviets officially declared the separation of church and state, a major policy move in the early years of the Russian Revolution. In 1922, William Larned's steel-framed tennis racket was tested for the first time, marking an innovation in sports equipment. In 1936, the silent film Modern Times, directed, written, and starring Charlie Chaplin, was released, symbolizing the end of the silent film era. In 1943, American middleweight boxer Jake LaMotta, known as the Bronx Bull, handed Sugar Ray Robinson his first professional defeat. In 1945, during World War II, United States troops under General Douglas MacArthur entered Manila, Philippines, after a month-long battle, ending 3 years of Japanese occupation. In 1945, American and French troops destroyed German forces in the Colmar Pocket in France, marking a key Allied victory near the end of World War II. In 1947, the Soviet Union and Great Britain rejected terms for an American trusteeship over the Japanese Pacific Islands, reflecting post-war tensions. In 1961, the Soviets launched Sputnik 5, the heaviest artificial satellite at the time, weighing over 7 metric tons. In 1968, United States troops divided Viet Cong forces at Hue, while the Saigon government promised to arm loyal citizens during the Vietnam War. In 1971, 2 Apollo 14 astronauts walked on the moon, continuing the achievements of the American space program. In 1972, Bob Douglas became the first African American elected to the Basketball Hall of Fame, marking a historic milestone in sports. In 1972, it was reported that the United States had agreed to sell 42 F-4 Phantom jets to Israel, emphasizing continued military cooperation. In 1985, Portuguese footballer Cristiano Ronaldo was born in Funchal, Portugal. He would go on to become one of the finest forwards of his generation. In 1994, Byron Della Beckwith was convicted for the 1963 killing of civil rights leader Medgar Evers, and received a life sentence, ending a decades-long pursuit of justice. In 2003, United States Secretary of State Colin Powell addressed the United Nations Security Council, presenting evidence that Iraq possessed prohibited weapons of mass destruction and posed an immediate threat. In 2017, the first overtime game in Super Bowl history took place when Tom Brady and the New England Patriots overcame a 25-point deficit to defeat the Atlanta Falcons. In 2020, after being impeached by the House of Representatives for his actions related to the Ukraine scandal, President Donald Trump was acquitted in the Senate.
Subscribe so you don't miss tomorrow's events.